It's a missing and murdered Indigenous women staff, and we were blessed with the eagle, so we all had similar dreams, so we put her together and been taking her out everywhere. She's been all over the country.
I'm going to be gifting Tammy with this ribbon skirt so that she can honor Jackie in the ways that she wishes, and that we're going to give her this blanket to show her that as a community we're here for her and we're going to support her. When a loved one's lost, that trauma will stay with you for the rest of your life. So Gitchigumi Scouts I founded in 2018, and what we do is we search and patrol for missing, murdered Indigenous women and relatives, and we patrol our community to help lower the statistics that Indigenous people face by watching for predatory behavior. MMIW, we have a lot of missing women who are still in the home, but they're missing inside themselves. They're struggling with that addiction spirit. And the area I live in, we struggle with drug and sex trafficking. And so she reached out to me and she was worried that her daughter Jackie may be missing. And I said to her that day, Tammy, I'm gonna stick with you. I'm gonna stick with you until the very end of this. As Jackie's community, we're rallying around Tammy and we're demanding justice for both her, baby Kevin, and that unborn baby. When I talk about MMIW within our area, I say MMIWR, Missing, Murdered Indigenous Women and Relatives, because within our area, I've recognized that it's been a lot of men who've gone missing. And when I think about that, it terrifies me, because when there is an empty seat at the big drum, that should scare us all, because men within our community, the men are our protectors. And we're gonna continue searching for them and following up on any leads we get. Even if it's like some random person has sent me a message on Facebook with a gut feeling, I'm gonna follow up on that tip, because I have the resources to do that. Whereas law enforcement, they have specific protocols that they need to follow. I'm not a law enforcement officer, so I can be more creative in my searches, and I can be more creative in the way that I go about this, because I'm not bound by the specific protocols and laws and agreements that law enforcement officers have to follow. Search, if it's an actual search, I will call upon the other scouts. There's about 10 of us, and what we'll do is we'll line up within like shoulder width apart, and we'll comb through an area. And we're just grateful for the men in our community who do show up and follow women's leadership, because MMIW belongs to the women, But we made it very clear within this area that our men are our protectors and we need them to stand up. And after saying that, every man within our community, they heard that, and they've been making changes, and they've been like stepping forward in ways that make the community feel safer. And that's my end goal, is to make our community safer. The reason I do the work that I do is I'm a survivor. I've been through domestic assault, I've been through sexual assault, I've been held against my will, and I've been in a position where a man told me that he was going to take my life. So I know what that woman felt before she left us, because I've been there. And I made a solemn promise that every time that I've been harmed, every bruise, every single one, for me has become a steel plate of armor. And I'm going to choose to stand and protect other women in our community, because I mean it when I say not one more, because I've been there. And the men in my community, they listen and they're hearing us, because a lot of the men within our community, a lot of violence within our community, it started with our men, Like, when you take that from a man, that toxic colonial masculinity that are forced upon our men, you take everything. You have a generation of men who are told that they can't cry, they can't grieve, they can't feel. And if they can't feel, they can't heal. And we need to change that for our men. We need them to know that this is a safe space not only for our women, but for them. And if we can make men feel safe, if we could raise men with as much care as we raise our daughters, we can change the world. There's been men in my community who've been involved in that, And I don't want to shame them, I want to hold them accountable. I like watching these men hold each other accountable, because that's how I know I'm safe in my community, is because these men will call each other out and hold them accountable. And they'll uplift each other. Instead of shaming, they'll uplift each other and remind them that as men, we have a job to do, you know? And I've seen that within my community, and I want to see that grow into other communities. Moving forward, when it comes to MMIW, starts with supporting the family. And so right now, that is my main priority, is making sure that Tammy feels heard and the Shabayash family feels heard, and that on both sides, they have the support of the community. With the pandemic, it's a lot harder now for my group and for me to watch for predatory behavior, because a lot of the times what we're reading is like body language and like different cues that women will give you when they feel unsafe, which is all within the facial region. And so it's really hard to tell if a woman is feeling uncomfortable or feeling unsafe. And you know, with the current lockdowns and the quarantines, I've seen an increase of domestic violence. I've responded to multiple different calls where domestic violence is just like running rampant, and it's been 50-50. It's been both men and it's been women. And it's just been a scary time. 2020 has been a scary time, but I've also seen the community rallying around survivors, rallying around victims, and amplifying their voices, you know. And you know, these shelters they're packed, and some of them can only be at half capacity because of the current pandemic. So what I'm hoping to see is more community involvement when it comes to women needing help. That way, you know, they don't have to go all the way to a shelter. They can stay with someone like local within the community. And I have seen a lot of that, especially within Fond du Lac. I myself have been involved in situations where the family believes this loved one was murdered and they're written off as a suicide. And we've seen that happen in multiple places all across Turtle Island.